It's so funny because DragonCon TV, when I did the Shatwell commercial for the first time, the first year, I never saw it. I was watching in my hotel room for like hours. I go, where is it? And now, this trip, I've seen it 80,000 times now. So, anyway, welcome to the Next Generation panel. Thank you for coming. You know what, I should probably check. Do we have everyone back there? Can you double check if everyone's there? Yeah? Yes? Hopefully? Will we go with everyone? Okay, alright. Why don't we first, why don't we bring somebody who plays Q out first? I think that would be John Delancey! Sorry. How about somebody named Michael Dorn who plays Worf? Michael Dorn! Hello, sir. Yeah. What about Counselor Troy? What do you think? Marina Santos! That's it. This is what we have. Thank you. Marina, my goodness, hello. I'm just going to say, oh my. Okay.
I'm old, but I still look good.
Oh, you look good.
I've only been up here with you
Don't touch
two.
me.
Okay, I won't touch you. I've never been on a panel with Mr. John Delancey before, though. So this is really exciting. Yay! All right, for those of you fans that have questions, you can actually line up at this center and make sure you sit down so you don't block anybody's camera shots. But if you want to ask specific questions, you can come down to the center. We have one microphone right here. Yeah?
Yeah, we can't see him.
Oh. They're asking if we can turn on the house
I see
lights.
more lights!
They want to know if we can... Can we turn on the house lights so that cute Mr. Delancey can actually see who's out here? Is that
It's
possible?
these lights that might...
Yeah, we're getting...
We need those because we're old. So, this would be a running theme. How old
Okay, that's turned up a little bit.
That's better. We can see.
Yeah, we can see people now. Excellent. Nice full house. Let's start out with questions right off the bat. Who's the first one? Do you have someone over here? Come on up. Don't be shy.
Hello. I have a question for Marina.
Hello. What are you wearing?
I'm dressed as Tira from Defiance. It's a
I don't know that. Is it a new show?
It's a new show.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to say I saw you at Star Trek Boston and you were incredible. You're a huge inspiration.
Thank you. You want to be a mean bitch too?
So I just wanted to ask you a question about the hair that you have as Troy.
The hair?
Yeah, it was curly at the beginning of TNG, and then by the end it was like you had it straightened. So,
Right.
Was the curly hair real? Which was real, straight or curly?
Okay. The only time you ever saw my real hair was in Encounter at Farpoint.
Oh, the
That
first one.
exploded willow pad on my head is my real hair.
Oh, cool! I have the same
Right.
hair.
I'm Greek. Actually, Jennifer Aniston and I both have the same hair, a different color, of course, but we both have the same frizzy Greek hair, which we tame. But after that, I wore a fall. You know what a fall is? All the older women know what a fall is. Basically, it was me in the front and then fake in the back. And because I realized having to be at work at 5:15 in the morning, when you're wearing a wig, the hairdressers can do your hair when you're not in it. Extra half an hour in bed in the morning, okay? So yeah, it was always a wig. Even when it was straight in the movies, that was a full wig.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. So what made you go straight at the end? Or just...
Well, like most women with curly hair, I hate my hair.
Oh, me too.
So, you know, I just wanted it straighter and straighter and straighter. And plus I thought it looked more contemporary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But, and I have to say, it's kind of apt that you would talk about the hair because in Hollywood, it's all about the hair. Everything is all about the hair. And with women, the makeup. I mean, 7 years, 4 movies, never got a note about anything other than hair and makeup. Swear to God. Did you do something different with with your hair? Have you been wearing a different colour lipstick? Nothing about the acting, they could care less. All about the hair and the makeup. Good question.
Thank you. Yes, your question.
First off, just thanks for being here. It's awesome to see you guys. My question was for Q. Essentially, the character of Q was pretty much an all-powerful, godlike character. I was wondering, playing it, were you ever afraid of what religious groups or organizations might think about that character and maybe be upset about shit?
Only in the South would we be asked this question.
No, I wasn't. Actually, I would love to hear what religious groups would have to say about it. No, it never even occurred to me.
Like I said, only in the South would we be asked.
Thank you.
He's a heathen.
John, how many episodes total did you appear as Q in all the different incarnations, would you say?
In 9 episodes.
See, it always seems to me it was 150 episodes,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's unbelievable that you have that impact off of 9 episodes only throughout all of them, right?
I've had conversations over the years with people who say, I really loved you when you came, when you flew down and you did this and that and, blah, 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 blah. I said, what episode is that? Oh, well, it's the, such and such episode. I said, I wasn't in that. and then the response would be, no, you were. So I've come to the conclusion that I have a life outside of...
You were there even when you weren't.
Even when you weren't.
That's how strong of a character.
Right.
Omnipresent, omnipotent, you're always there.
Almost.
Yes. Next question, please.
Okay. How stupid do you feel in that?
I like your costume.
What are you? Are you what are you?
Alf.
You're Alf.
He's Asian American Alf. Even better.
My question is for Michael. I read that some time ago that you're currently writing a script for a new Star Trek series, which I really look forward to seeing, where Worf is the captain of a Federation starship. What's the stand on that, and what's the plot? Can you give us a little more information about what ship, what's the name of Worf's ship, and what enemy will Worf be facing?
One question at a time, sir.
It was an idea that kind of started from a blog last year when I was doing a convention in Phoenix, and it wasn't captain of a federation. Basically, my idea was that that we delve more into the Klingon culture, and where the culture is has moved on. It's not what do you call it when a culture is all about one particular race? It's called something. Thank you. And where it's moved on, and so you see Starfleet officers and other aliens actually interacting on the Klingon home world. So we kind of moved on about this stuff, and that's what the story was about. And it actually got a little traction. I wrote the script, and we had a meeting with CBS Home Entertainment, and they were interested, and they wanted to do a 30-minute proof of concept. And then it ran into CBS, Paramount, and J.J. Abrams. And then it came to us.
That was the end of that.
And then it came to a screeching halt. But Worf wasn't going to be. I can tell you the story. Worf wasn't.
Don't tell him the story.
I'm curious.
Oh,
I am.
It's a spoiler though when it gets made, doesn't it?
Yeah, but maybe this will help make the energy of people thinking of it.
I'm pretty good at not giving it away.
Okay.
Been in the business, I think. No, the story is just basically Worf trying to find his place in the universe, and he's on the Klingon home world, and he's part of that. And And once again,
Is it?
Spoiler, isn't it?
if you weren't my best friend, I'd strike you right now. I'd fucking strike you.
No, I can take him. Have you seen how skinny he is now?
But basically, the story was Worf trying to find himself once again, and he just, and it's has running and jumping and fighting and battles and what I consider an interesting thing. I went back to what Gene Roddenberry did with our show, which was that he told basically in the story of Next Generation, he said that the Federation has moved on. We have Klingons on the bridge, which is something that the fans went, oh my God, I can't believe this, And so I took a page from that and said, okay, the Klingon Empire has moved on, and they've had to change. They have to make, or else they would, they're going to cease to be in existence. So, and that's kind of the story. But she read the script.
It's really good. It's really good. I'm not just saying that because he's sitting next to me. It's really good.
So that
he knows Klingon better. I mean, not the actual language, but he knows Klingons and how Klingons should be better than anybody because he's the prototype. I'm sorry, but he's the prototype of our type of Klingon, right? When we had guest star Klingons, I'm sure they were told to go and watch Michael Dorn to see what they should be doing as a Klingon. So he knows his Klingon, man. It's a really good script.
But
what? If you're going to heckle, enunciate.
I think that, so anyway, it ran into a roadblock, but I don't think it's dead yet. I think that the fans kind of, and I mean this just, if you guys want to, then, send letters and call them or whatever the case and just inundate them with saying, hey, we really want to see this. And I think that once CBS is a corporation, and if they know they can make big money, they'll do it. So that's the story.
Are you guys in the CBS blackout on Time Warner here in where are we? Atlanta? No, you're still getting CBS. Okay.
Isn't that an amazing thing? It's free over the airwaves, but if you want to watch it on cable, you can't. Wait a minute. It's free. And they said, well, yes, but you want us to pay more for it. Well, yes. It's insane.
Michael, have you seen Star Trek Into Darkness?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I wanted your opinion on what did you think of the new Klingon look that they debuted there? Because I personally think it looked unfinished. I thought that there's something. Any comment on that?
I saw it last week on the plane. Were they Klingons?
Yeah, they're Klingons.
Who was a Klingon?
Who was it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Who was it? They went down to this planet,
Right.
and that's where.
Early on in the movie?
It was in the middle of the movie, wasn't it?
Yes, there was a huge fight scene, Marina, where Benedict Cumberbatch, who I cannot, or anyway, Benedict Cumberbatch kicks a whole bunch of Klingon booty.
Oh,
right? You remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember what they look like though.
Right.
Yeah. No,
It's the menopause, I'm sorry, I don't remember anything.
I think it's the same thing what happened with Next Generation is that they decided to go a different way than the original. So it was just different. I don't think it was bad or good.
Okay.
I thought it was just a different way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
They had a forehead, yeah, but it was an interesting forehead.
Yeah, it was different.
And that little
Were they white or black?
embedded seeds. They were black. They were,
They were black.
yeah.
Okay, on that note, thank you. Next questions, sir?
My question's for Mr. Dorn, but I do want to ask first. great.
Yes,
Are we
dear.
seeing your real hair today?
Is that the real deal? It is
Yeah,
the real deal.
it's me.
It's the real.
This is my real hair.
He just said it was lovely.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
John Delancey, you're a great actor. In fact, you, sir, are a god.
Little tip from the panel. Don't be funnier than us, okay?
This is going to be totally silly. When I was here last year, Mr. Dorn, you did one panel that was just you and Mr. Frakes. And you guys were cracking up a lot and picking on the audience. And when someone asked a question that you didn't want to answer, you would both break into song.
Yes.
I would like to know, what is the song, and did you guys learn this together in your spare time on the set?
No, actually, the song is Moody's Mood for Love. And Jonathan is a huge jazz aficionado. In fact, he plays, remember when we first got on Star Trek, we would go to this club after work and he would play trombone to this jazz group that they knew. And it was
Nick Adele's?
not Nick Adele's, L.A. Nicola.
Oh,
Way out in East Hollywood, and he was so he knew the song, and I just happen to love that song, so that's how it happened. Yeah. But it's very cool. There I go, there I go, there I go. I won't sing the whole thing.
please God, thank you.
I knew that was coming.
Nothing if not predictable.
Well,
Hello.
Okay. Can I ask a Voyager question? Even though this is a TNG.
Really quick, hurry.
Okay. I know you've heard this question a million times, but you were on the show so long, you were still an ensign. What happened?
Oh, you're talking to him?
Sorry.
I was on Voyager. I thought she was going to say something about me and Dwight Schultz.
It's with the show Voyager panel.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll just take 10 seconds to answer this. I was also upset about the non-promotion, so I called the producers up and I said, excuse me, why haven't I been promoted? And the answer from Brandon Braga, the executive producer of Voyager, was, somebody's gotta be the ensign. That's all I know. That's it.
You know what? No one got promoted on our show except me.
Really? Yeah, Wolf got promoted.
When you became security chief, you were promoted?
Yes.
Yeah, when you were a lieutenant and you became a lieutenant commander?
Command, that's right.
You don't know. Did you have two pips, two gold and a black pip?
no, you know what it was? I forgot. I know what it was. Is that I wasn't acting. Patrick said acting temporary lieutenant or second lieutenant or something.
Right.
Oh.
But I actually got promoted from lieutenant commander to commander.
To command.
Full
Remember
commander.
in that episode where I sent LeVar to his death?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, and you know what? This is so interesting. That this was what, sixth season, and by that time, some of the cast, no names, were really going through the script like a lot of soap actors, you know, bullshit, my line, and that's not true. That's not just soap actors. It's all actors.
That's all.
Yeah. So the week after we shot that episode, we're sitting in observation, and I said to LeVar, "You have to call me sir now." And he goes, "Why?" And I said, "Because I'm a commander." He goes, "When did that happen?" I said, "Last week, when I sent you to your death." He goes, "Oh, so that's what that was about."
Only in Star Trek can you die and come back to life. That's
Yes,
what's
we
so
killed
amazing.
Denise Crosby. No, it wasn't real. I killed him on the holiday.
Oh, it's a holodeck death. Okay.
But you know, we killed Denise Crosby twice, and she still came back.
That's right.
Bad Kenny man.
Okay, on that note, next question, please.
Hi, this is for Mr. Dorn.
Oh, hi.
Hi. This question is actually my boyfriend's question. He was afraid to come up.
Wait.
Where is he?
Where is he? Exactly.
stand up.
He doesn't want to get up.
Now. We're going to find you.
But he's been a Star Trek fan his whole life, ever since he was a little boy. And he went to a panel actually when he was 7 years old, and he asked you what it felt like to be beamed up. And
I remember that question
you
too.
do. And you told him that it wasn't real, and he explained it all. You broke his little heart.
What's his name?
You might as well tell him that there was no Santa Claus. Could you just to heal things, to close the circle, could you tell him what it's like to be beamed up?
How old is he now?
I believe he's 31 now.
Okay, now we want to kill ourselves.
Michael, heal that broken heart. Heal it now.
Just make something up, Dorny. Make it up. Come on.
Well, first of all, I don't believe any of that stuff. I think that by me telling him that, that it wasn't real, it sent him down a road of reality. He's much better off now. Just think what it would be like if you had a boyfriend who believed that he was being beamed from time to time.
He was 7.
Whenever he would get in trouble with you, he goes, "I'm going to beam him out of here."
Although you can find a lot of boyfriends, potential boyfriends, who do believe that they're going to
That's
be
true.
out here.
And the whole Santa Claus thing, there is a Santa Claus, but he's a black man. But no, I remember that question. I remember that question because it was the only one that anybody's ever asked me that question, really, one time. And I said,
I'm sure he just loves to hear that.
I was asked that question also. I didn't say this is not real. I just said, it kind of tickles, is what I said. So it was a little kid, and I said, it kind of tickles. And they laughed, and that was it. So, it kind of tickles.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm sorry your heart was broken. He didn't mean it. He just wanted to be real with you, that's all.
His Facebook icon actually includes you.
Oh,
Him?
wow. Thank
This
you.
one? And you know what, wherever you are, grow a pair, man.
"Oh boy."
Oh, bud. Next question, thank you.
This question is actually for John. Your snark on the show was some of the best stuff ever. Like when Q called Worf a Romulan, that was great stuff. My question is, what was your funniest moment that you remember from the show? Or just one of them, I don't know.
My funniest moment. I'm terrible at the funniest.
No, you have to, I'm going to just
Most
preface, while
favorite
you're thinking, John, I'm going to
No,
preface. Have you thought? Okay. He always had so much to say.
It was difficult to get lines in. And you could come up with some lines. And actually, I'm of the opinion that sometimes actors actually do come up with sometimes even really terrific lines. There was a line that I really wanted to get in, and I spoke to the director about it. Cliff Ball, yeah, who he and I enjoyed a particular relationship to the extent that we were always sort of being, snarky with each other. And it's when my henchman comes in and he turns and he says to me, this is when I'm dressed up like Robin Hood. Today is going to be a good day. There will be a wedding and an execution. And then I turn to the camera and I say, right into the camera, but I thought all weddings were executions.
Oh my.
Did they get that? That's what I know. No, you can't do that. No,
What are we talking about?
Well, thank you very much. I saw when you did Gargoyles panel here a couple years ago. That was awesome.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, for the Gargoyles fans, by the way, there's going to be a Gargoyles convention in Minneapolis next year. It's called Convergence, and what normally happens at Gargoyles, like specifically Gargoyles conventions, because it's the 20th anniversary, can you believe? Greg will probably either bring a script or write a script, and we will do an episode of Gargoyles at the convention, okay?
Excellent. Thank you all. Thank you. Next question. Yes, please.
Randomly, my question was actually about gargoyles, so that's perfect. Introduction, if you guys didn't know the show. So why are there so many Star Trek cast members as voice actors on the awesome show that is Gargoyles? If like Jonathan Frakes call you guys up, hey guys, I do this really cool show. I'm a bad guy, there's some gargoyles.
No, obviously they were fans of our show. Greg and Jamie, the director, were fans of our show, but they made us audition. They didn't just offer us the part. They made us audition, but then, you know, we were always in the top 5 people they wanted to audition. And blow me, but didn't we always get the job? But, you know, they did make us go through the audition process, so it wasn't like, you know, they just came and said that. So, did you audition for Cold?
I auditioned for the...
For Goliath.
Goliath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was between me and Keith David.
Right. Keith
And
David.
yeah, and they gave it to Keith. And,
Well, I originally auditioned for Alyssa.
Yeah.
I want to audition for Gargoyles.
Well, I thought you were awesome.
You were too young.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Next question.
Alright, this is from Mr. Dorn.
Yes.
First of all, Worf was my favorite character. All shows. No offense to anybody else at the table. Sorry.
Too late.
But growing up, me and my brother would always mess around, pretend we were playing on Spike and stuff like that. I know how much we got hurt playing with those toys. And did you? First question: how many battles do you own? And did you ever get injured with one?
No, they were very good about not letting me handle a real. No, I never got hurt with those weapons. One of the stunt guys got hurt with one of the weapons one time. We made the weapon too good, and he was in a full mask and a monster mask. I was doing all holodeck fighting my monsters, and it got caught in one of his things and sliced open the mask and blinded him for a couple of minutes. It was not fun. But I did get hurt twice with stunt guys. And if anybody ever gets in the business and they're doing stunts, and you're an actor doing stunts, if a stunt coordinator says, "Don't worry, we know what we're doing," that's when you're going to get hurt. And a guy, I was doing a scene where I was coming at him, and we were fighting and throwing punches, and the guy said, "Michael, it doesn't look real enough. Really go after him, like really put your face right up there." And I said, "But wait a minute, he's throwing the punch, and I'm putting my face up there. Don't you think that's maybe a little, dangerous?" He goes, "Don't worry, we know what we're doing." And he punched me, and I felt, it didn't break, but you know how it is when you get hit and you feel the little crunchiness? And he hit me, and I slid down the front of his and that was it. But they were very good about it. There was
They were very good about taking you to the hospital.
They got me there very quickly. But there was an interesting thing that the guy who designed the weapons and I got together, we all got together to do this martial arts, and we had this great idea. We said, why don't we have, because they were just doing everything in licensing in those days, why don't we do a video of Klingon martial arts? Where, Worf is teaching martial arts, and he's got the weapons, and he's doing all this stuff, and everybody was like, wow, that's a great idea, oh my God. Then it got to Paramount Legal Department, and they said, not on your life. He says they could just see the lawsuits flowing in, from kids, you know, like getting the martial arts and slicing up their little sisters, you know. And, oh my God, you know. Well, Worf said I could do it, you know.
It's okay, you can shoot your little sister, but you can't slice her up.
But they,
sorry, I have to get
Jesus.
that one out. I'm sorry. I know I'm in Atlanta, but I have to make my point. What? It's true. You can shoot someone and not get away with it, but if you slice them up, you get sued. That doesn't make sense to me.
Anyway,
Okay.
that's the story.
That went down like a cup of hot stick in Atlanta. And all you NRA card carrying members out there, I know I'm outnumbered, but I have to have my say.
Next question.
First off, Marina, you're not mean.
I'm not?
No, you're
He says I'm mean.
No, you're real.
He says I'm mean as a snake.
You just throw real good shade, and I understand. I'm an old shady bitch too. And we old shady bitches gotta stay together.
Yes, sir, recall.
If you have to read somebody every now and then, well, take your read and go.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I like your costume.
I love it. She looks like the Queen of England.
She does.
Okay.
Oh.
I know you're only a countess, but to me...
I have aspirations now. I'm not gonna lay out my business here in front of everybody.
Okay.
Mr. Dorn, this question's for you. I've been watching Next Generation for a while, and I've talked to other black nerds on the internet and everything, and we kind of looked at the evolution of Worf's character, comparing that with Deep Space Nine, and how Worf kind of reacts with Avery Brooks, especially once Avery let Hawk out to be commander of Deep Space Nine. And we were kind of like, man, like Worf seems to be kind of, digging, Cisco a little bit more than Picard. It's, it's kind of like a brother man thing kind of going on. So this is what, like, our little lore we have amongst each other. How do you see it?
You dig them. You dig them.
You know what? My take on the whole thing was that Worf came from the coolest ship in the galaxy. And he comes over to this place. And he was learning, but he was a little sort of like, I don't know the word for it. It's Avery or Cisco yelled a lot. And on the Enterprise, there was no yelling. I mean, he would tell Dax and I, now get out! And Mr. Worf, you'll never... I mean, he was like, really? And Worf would just go, okay. This is different. And that was it. I don't think that the character didn't really have a relationship with Cisco. He respected him for a lot of stuff, but it was a different type of feel that, and that's why not halfway, but I guess the first season over Deep Space, I suggested to the writers that Worf is really uncomfortable in this place, and he wanted to go someplace to be by himself. And they said, okay, why don't you, go on the Defiant and live in that little cubby, one of the little quarters. And so he was uncomfortable with everybody, so. But there wasn't any bro thing going on with him. I mean, they didn't, they weren't like, hey man, that's some cool shit. Just wasn't. Sorry. Oh, careful.
Hello.
Hi. First of all, I just want to say thank you for hours of entertainment, and not just entertainment, but thought-provoking entertainment, all of you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Surtees, this question is for you. Actually, one other thing for you before I get to my question. I'm a woman in the military. I serve in the Navy, and I want to say,
okay?
Oh, bye.
So, Mr. Ortiz, I just wanted to say thank you for representing women in the military and in science so well. I felt like you did us a great credit.
Thank you, that's really appreciated. Thank you.
And now my question, I understand that you know Vic Magana.
Mignona.
And that he asked you to do some voiceover work for his series Star Trek Continues.
Yes.
Can you please talk about that for just a moment?
Well, I am the voice of the computer. Which, you know, I have to say, I kind of put that out there when they first started talking about rebooting Star Trek. Because I thought, Majel was the voice of the computer day one, until, you know, until she passed away. Majel was always the voice of the computer. So I thought, foolish me, I thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool if Roxana's daughter took over the voice of the computer? Wouldn't that kind of have a continuation that was kind of cool, right? That was obviously too philosophical for JJ. And,
Can I, you know what?
what?
I have a question.
Okay.
Talking about the new Star Trek movie.
Well, which we weren't, but anyway.
Well, you did say J.J. Abrams.
I did, but I wasn't talking about it.
Let's
Anyway, go ahead.
When Kirk died, or kind of died, wasn't it like a strange thing, and I don't know why they did it, that they actually transplanted that whole scene from the Wrath of Khan to that part, and they just mixed the
Mix their metaphors.
mixed the I mean, did you guys notice that, or?
Oh, did they notice that? No, they don't.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, my question is, I mean, what did you think about that? Did you think it was odd, or did you? Well, okay, how many people thought it? How many people liked it?
Okay, no problem.
How many people thought it was odd?
They thought it was odd.
I thought it was odd. That's very interesting. Anyway.
So anyway, when Vic asked me to be the voice of the computer, I was thrilled because I loved Majel, and it's my little homage to her that I'm continuing her work.
Cool.
And we're streaming the episode tonight at 7:30 with Vic Magana there.
Okay. Mignona.
Yeah.
He's Italian,
Yeah,
it's not
whatever.
my whatever. Too many consonants in his name.
Yes. So I want to start by saying, up until 3 weeks ago, I had only ever seen one episode of The Next Generation until my roommate convinced me to watch it. I have now seen every single episode.
Oh my God!
In 3 weeks? Oh my, oh Lord.
Don't you love a good binge watch? I love a good binge watch.
Please get some sleep soon.
However, my question is for Mr. Delancey. My favorite scene in the entire series was when you're sitting in Picard's reading room and you are discussing Shakespeare. My question is, what was y'all's relationship like off the set?
Be careful how you answer this.
We didn't really have much of a relationship off the set. I mean, I like Patrick. I think he likes me. Our relationship, we worked with each other for about 10 days or so, 2 weeks maybe, before we did the show. He was hired, clearly, and I was hired, and I don't know if anybody else was hired at that time, because we just kept on having, rehearsals of our scenes. And then I left to go and do another show, and then I came back well into the shooting of the pilot. And then you have to understand, I really only came to the set once a year, and even then not for Next Gen, I skipped a year. So Jonathan would take me aside and say, you are the litmus test. Tell me what you see this year. So we have a little conversation like that. Patrick and I had, we were placed in adversarial positions. So, oftentimes it's better to sort of keep that position because then you don't have to really make it up. That's good. And so it was a who's on top sort of, which is the subtext. You have to understand, there are the words and what the words say, but then there's this whole other, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's hopefully the bottom part of the iceberg. I mean, one of the things which was, I'm taking a little time to answer this question, I'm sorry, but one of the things that was interesting about my relationship with Kate and Mulgrew, and Kate and I actually do have a relationship. We see each other all the time, and we talk to each other and what have you. They were so concerned about that relationship that they sort of stayed away from it. They were so concerned that the character of Janeway would become somehow enthralled or infatuated by Q. And there, you kind of went, oh, but no, we have to go there because the audience expects that. And we have to get really, really close, and the audience would be going, oh. To be able to, you're taking a huge paintbrush off, or a huge color off the palette. With Patrick and I, it was frankly easier to play with him. With Kate, it was not quite so easy to play the scenes with her because we weren't supposed to go into that territory. But with Patrick and I, it was sort of easier to play because there we really were, you're just watching, and you're just looking for that place. And so that gives you a secret, it gives you all of those things which are fun to play, and therefore I think made for better scenes between Patrick and me.
Thank you.
Good question.
Yes, everybody. I want to echo everybody that's been before me, and thank you guys so much for being here and for being such a huge part of my childhood. And it's really amazing. I have kind of an off-topic question for John, though. I just want to hear about your brief time on Breaking Bad and what it was like. What it was like working with Brian and Aaron, and if you had a favorite moment from your time on that.
Brian, all of those people are consummate actors. They have something that no actor can get beyond. If you don't have the material, you really cannot fly. Vince is one of the best writers one of the best writers ever. So you now have fantastic material, and it frankly makes you better. That was one thing. The other thing which was really sort of wonderful, and these guys are going to know what I mean right off the bat. A 3-page scene, a longish sort of scene, to be shot in one room, walk down a corridor, walk and talk, short corridor, and then to be finished in the other room of this bungalow. Started at 10 o'clock in the morning, finished at 7 o'clock at night. 2 cameras rolling. The executive producer is in the video village. The producer, the director, the writers.
Is it, what's the lady's name? She did it?
No. And that is a level of attention that is just amazing. It's just amazing. So I would finish, we do the run, it's finish it off here. That's the scene, 3-page scene, a lot of stuff going on. You do it the first time, okay? And then you expect to do it the second time. But by the third time, I at least, and I think most of these guys would go, and they start going, oh, well, we'll do it a third time, and John, could you, and would you, and you kind of go, ooh, I'm
This
not.
was, this was a oneer?
Yeah.
It was a oneer?
Yeah.
And it took 9, it took...
Well, hold on. And they begin saying, could we do this this way, and could we do that? And you begin going, oh my God, I'm not giving them what they want. Until I began to realize, no. They've come there to create just as much as you have. And now, where you have just... the only other person that I ever had that experience with was Peter Weir. The experience of filming has moved, it's sort of blown the top off, and now everybody's creating. And so it was a wonderful, wonderful show. No,
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I've never had that experience.
Yeah, they shot it as a master, going through an entire master, but they're running 2 cameras at the same time, so it's a complicated master. And then they do breakups along the way. So it's just, you can bring things. You can say, well, what about this and what about that? And everybody is in a zone, and you see it. But that type of shooting is expensive. It requires the people there who know how to do that, and mostly you have to have the material. You have to have the material. Thank you.
Awesome.
My question is for Mr. Delancey. Because of you, I was forced to watch a children's cartoon, My Little Pony. And I noticed some similarities in the character who portrayed Discord to Q, and I wondered if you had any comments about that.
I got a call from my agent. You have an offer for My Little Pony. I didn't know what My Little Pony was. I said, what is it? It's a cartoon. I said, fine. But could you send me the material? Actors ask 3 questions. When? How much? Let me see the material. Okay, those are the 3 questions that we have some yes or no control of. I said, sure. I went in. Nobody said anything to me as to whether this was supposed to be Q or anything else. Didn't say that. I went in and I did it. Now, you have to understand, it's still me playing it, so there's a lot of me in the role. It took me probably 2 hours to really prep it properly, and then I went in and knocked it off in an hour and a half to be forever forgotten. Because that's how it is most of it. I wasn't going to be watching it. It was certainly well written, but that was the end of it. 3 months later, I go down to my computer, and I have maybe about 400 or 500 emails. And they all talk about My Little Pony. And I call up to my wife and I say, and I'm pissed. I'm like, somebody spammed me. Oh my God, what is this? I call up, in my usual agitated, dyspeptic voice. I call, whoa, what do you know about My Little Pony? And she goes, well, it's a cartoon that you did about 3 months ago, and it's for little girls. I went, well, let me tell you something. These aren't little girls at all. that was my introduction to, that's actually when I began concentrating on My Little Pony, and then discovered a wonderful world of bronies. Since then, also, I have talked to Lauren Faust, who created it, and that's very much what they wanted was Q. And I didn't know that. Thankfully, they didn't say that to me. Yeah.
Thank you. Next question, please.
I just want to say that, like, throughout childhood, the six of us.
Okay, could you not say childhood? Could you say when I was younger?
But we still watch. But my six brothers and sisters and I.
How many?
There are six of us.
Are you Catholic?
But the only thing we could agree on was to watch Star Trek, whether it's Next Generation, Voyager, or Deep Space Nine. And I've got to say, Garrett Wong, Harry Kim still remains my favorite character on Voyager.
Finally, some respect. No promotion, but I'm at least your favorite character.
But my question's for Marina, and I just wanted.
That is true. You're right.
But I'm with the Queen, who's up here earlier.
Oh, yes.
You are so wonderful and snarky and beautiful and...
Snarky? Am I happy to be snarky? I don't know what that means. I'm not au fait with the new vernacular, actually. I have to be honest.
Okay, mean.
It's okay.
Mean. And Deanna Troy's not mean.
I know.
So, for you as an actress portraying her as you were acting her out, were there ever times where you had just such a difficult time where you just wanted to wring her neck and be like, why don't you just do this?
Yes, the hardest part of playing Deanna for 7 years and 4 movies was keeping Marina out. No, honestly, because her reactions were like 180 degrees from what my reactions would be in real life. So it was not a challenge, but I had to think, you know, when I was learning my lines and figuring out what I was going to do in the scene, I had to let go, okay, it's not what Marina would do, it's what would Deanna do, right, in this situation. In fact, it was really funny though, because you notice when she lost her powers, she changed. And my husband watched the episode, The Loss, where Troy lost her powers, and he said to me after he watched it, he goes, so why is it that when Troy loses her powers, she becomes Marina? Well, when he'd regained consciousness, I explained. But it was, you know, it got easier and easier as the time, you know, as the years went by. But it was absolutely like, what would Marina do? Okay, do the opposite, you know, really. But thank you for noticing that we're different. But you know what was really great about, actually I have to say, I used to get, when the show first started, and you know you're out there and you know who you are, we hate Troy. Troy is boring, Troy is this, Troy is that, we hate Troy. And then they would come to meet me at conventions and they would come up to me and say, no, we really hate Troy, but we love you. So it kind of worked both ways, you know, it worked out in the end.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi, this is a question for Michael and Marina. In TNG, like when it ends, like in the last episode, it goes to the future, and it turns out that Worf and Troy got married, like they ended up together. But then...
We got married.
And then you died, right?
I died.
Yeah, you got married and then you died, and then...
No, we weren't married. I never married him. I'm pretty sure I never married him. I would remember.
What happened is that
we slept together, but we never got married.
I got
that. What?
Where you get? I'm sorry.
No, what happened is
I was dead.
You were dead, but
future.
before you were dead, I thought Troy and Worf were together.
Well, we were together.
Yes.
Dating.
Yes. Okay.
You know, you could go out with someone without marrying them.
I haven't heard that.
Right.
I have not heard. Anyway,
No, I thought what happened is that Worf and Troy were dating, and then Riker in the future came back, you know, because he wanted to kind of put a kibosh on the relationship, and she went off she didn't go off with him, but she didn't continue with the Worf thing, and then she died, and Worf got pissed because, and I think that's what it was.
Worf got pissed because Riker stole it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
He didn't steal, he stole me. Riker didn't steal me. I was with Riker, and then he stole me.
No, I'm saying in the future what happened is that Riker, he didn't like the idea of you and I going out in the future. And so he put the kibosh on it. He did something. And I didn't get a chance to consummate the relationship or get married, and she died.
We consummated.
Yes, I do. Okay, anyway, what's your question?
I don't know if it's still valid, but this is still great anyway. But so my question is, in the movie, once Frakes got control, he rewrote history so that Troy and Riker got married.
Yes.
He didn't write that script. Brent wrote that script. Brent and John Logan wrote that script.
Yeah.
Don't be blaming Jonathan.
Sorry, I like to blame him for everything.
Don't blame Jonathan.
So
my question was, did you ever go to Brent or Jonathan and be like, and originally, like, we ended up together, but then you changed it so that Riker...
Yeah. I always thought that they handled the whole Worf-Troy thing in an odd way. I'm not really sure why they did the things they did. But they...
Didn't he go kind of get un-Klingon-y when he was with Troy? I thought he got un-Klingon-y. I'll be honest, I love the relationship with Worf and Dax. That was the one for me. They were all reading poetry and chucking things at each other, like Klingon.
Yeah, and I think that they kind of, I don't know, it was an odd thing that...
You went all
that
sloppy
they,
when you were with Troy.
Was it on, like, Star Trek Into Darkness was on when they, like, stole that entire scene?
Weren't you here? I just said that.
But
I did say
too late.
that entire scene.
Well, you were saying before, it's really odd how they took that whole scene.
Yeah.
It's like odd in the same way.
Is it odd the same way that...
Like, it's actually kind of terrible.
Oh, no. I don't believe in those judgments. I just think it was just different. Okay.
Well, I'm sorry for the two people who haven't asked your question, but we are out of time. But I want to thank these guys. I'm sorry. Put your hands